Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Making an Impact with Zebu Nation. And today we have for you the 2019 Major League Soccer mid-season review. It's not quite a spectacular, but we'll try to make it worth your while anyway. Now, before we get into our position in the league and all that stuff, let's take a look at how we got here. And it was an interesting start to the season. Well, maybe not so much interesting as sort of depressing. We started off in our first 9 games. We only had 3 wins, 6 losses, no draws. So that is really not a good way to start off your season. It also included a pretty depressing 3-game losing streak right here in the middle to Colorado, Portland, and DC United, where we just sort of got hammered by all 3 teams. It was not a good time. And I was kind of hoping at the beginning of the season that we would be able to keep some of our mojo from last year, because last year we ended pretty strong, made the playoffs, all that stuff. So I was hoping this year, just add a couple of pieces, added, really good striker, all that kind of stuff, and we'd be able to just roll along. But unfortunately, we've got a pretty young team, so sometimes young teams take a while to get started. And this year was no different. So, second quarter really focused on getting more, maybe not discipline, but just a little bit more consistent. And we managed to do that. So in our second quarter, which consisted of 8 games, because, Major League Soccer has not an odd numbered schedule, but a strange number of games for this schedule. 34 games. Weird number. Anyway. In our next 8 games, we ended up with 4 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses. So that's a much more reasonable quarter, reasonable series of events. And that also included a very nice win in the Canadian Championship semifinals over Toronto, and another win over Toronto, which makes us undefeated for the season against our rival. We've played Toronto 4 times already. I don't think we're going to play them again. Let me quickly scan down the schedule to make sure. Minnesota, New Orleans, Atlanta. I don't see Toronto again on the schedule. So good riddance to them. Well, we won't see them again unless we see them in the playoffs, and that's kind of doubtful. We'll look at that in a minute. So it's been a pretty good quarter. It was capped off by our amazing 5-4 victory over Philadelphia in the last MLS game. Hopefully you saw that. Recorded that game for the last episode, and it was just an amazing back-and-forth game. And then since then, we had the international break. But of course, even though I said that I would take an international break, I didn't. I scheduled 2 friendlies. We beat New York Cosmos 2-0, and then we beat Chivas 3-0. Chivas is a very big club in Mexico. They're quite often at the top of the league. Last year, they finished 5th place. So, they're one of the better teams in Mexico, and we trounced them 3-0. Now, this was their first preseason game of the season, and they played several of their youngsters in the second half. But still, we got out ahead of them, and we trounced them. And we had not a full squad either. I mean, we had a lot of backups in there. There's Mancosu, Romero, Vargas. Those are 3 pretty prominent players on our squad. But Vargas gets the goals going. But now here's one of our youngsters, Carrera, sending the ball downfield to Dupuy in the second half. And there's Vasquez just planting one top shelf, top corner. And he does a cartwheel, the old man. Now here's Dupuy again, playing the number 10 role. Gets it to Carrera again, who goes inside. Back to Dupuy. Centers to Vasquez, another one of our 17-year-olds. And he scores. So, they played a lot of youngsters. We played a lot of youngsters and still beat them 3-0. So that was outstanding. But those were only friendlies, so of course they don't count. But let's look at the games that do count. Let's get to the competitions here. So after 17 games, we got 7 wins, 2 draws, 8 losses, Total of 23 points and a +1 goal differential. So we're finally up in the positive zone. Now we have dropped all the way down to 12th in the Supporters Shield because the Western Conference is much stronger than the Eastern Conference. So we got a lot of Western Conference teams up above us. I mentioned Toronto, and they've had a bit of a comeback themselves. They're up to 20 points, so they're only 3 points behind us. So it is a possibility they might sneak up, take a playoff position from somebody. Chicago, maybe. Hopefully not us. That would be terrible. But anyway, Toronto has moved up the chart, so we got to watch out for them eventually. Some of the other teams that are playing pretty well this year, New England is playing well, and Columbus has been killing it from the start. Columbus has been number 1 in the league basically from week 1, and they've just been killing it every week. They've got 34 points, puts them, them and New England have kind of separated themselves a little bit from the rest of us. DC's down here 27 points, so, we're a good 11 points back from Columbus. But if you look at the Supporters Shield, Columbus is 3rd in the Supporters Shield. That shows you how good the Western Conference is. They got 2 teams as good or better than Columbus, starting with the LA Galaxy, and that's pretty wild. I had not expected the LA Galaxy to be so good this season after they were dead last season. See if they got in their squad. I guess they got a lot of good players in the squad. They picked up Dom Dwyer somehow. That's good, I guess. Gio Dos Santos is still there. Alessandrini is still there. What did they do in their transfer history here? They must have picked up some other players. And they picked up Andres Riquarte for $97,000. He's a 27-year-old Colombian. He's okay, I guess. They must have made some trades. How else would they get Dom Dwyer, right? Let's see. Traded away Ola Kamara. There's Dom Dwyer from Orlando. They traded away Sebastian Legit Boateng and a first-round draft pick for Dom Dwyer. He's good, but is he that good? I don't know. He's pretty good. I'd take him, that's for sure. But anyway, let's not dive too deep into the LA Galaxy. Let's get back to the competitions here. And let's take a look at team stats. See how we're doing, sort of get an overall feel for us. Now, most goals, we're doing pretty good. We are tied with San Jose and Houston at the top of the league with 31 goals apiece. That's a lot of goal scoring for 17 games. So we're looking pretty good in terms of offense. Headers conceded, we're down there in 7th, not so good. LA Galaxy up at the top. Average possession, we are nowhere to be seen. We are not a possession team, and this shows it for sure. We're not even in the top 8. Houston is number 1 at 56%. Tackles, not a particularly good tackling team either. We are still not in the top 8 for tackling either. Orlando is number 1 at 82%. So we are probably like 75% or less. Least conceded, we are not on this list either. So that shows you where our problem is. Our deficiency right now is defense. We're just letting in too many goals. And that could be from a young defense, most likely. Could be from goalkeeping, but I don't know about that. I think it's mostly down to our young, very young defense. All across the board, we're, 20-year-olds, basically, or even teenagers in some respects. Anyway, defensively, we're not doing so good. Shutouts, of course, we're not on the shutouts list. Most fouls, surprisingly, we're not on this list. So we're not tackling, we're not defending, we're not fouling. We're just sort of, we're playing offense, basically. We're just trying to outscore everyone. Seems to be this year's motto. Passes completion, not on this list either. Houston, again, 82% at the top. So Houston's playing a possession game. And that could be another part of our problem is You know, all offense, no defense. Also, no possession means the other team gets a lot of possessions. Means they get a lot of attempts to score. So it just causes, you know, it's the basketball on grass mentality that I mentioned last season. Except we're not playing any defense with that basketball. It's all offense. So most crosses completed. Hey, we're on this list, 14%. Look at Minnesota up here with 18%. That's a really good percentage. Usually like 15% is around the top of the league. So for them to be a good 3 percentage points above means they got some really good stuff going on this year. And then finally hitting the target, 4th in the league. It's pretty good. I'd like to be closer to 50%. 43% is okay, I guess, even though it's 4th in the league. You know, by my standards, it's still a little low. But that's because we got some midfielders who like to take a lot of long shots. So that's, you know, kind of to be expected. All right, so that's those stats real quick. Players' stats real quick. We got, in terms of top goal scorers, Jackson Amell up here with 8. Puts him 7th in the league, tied with Jordan Morris, who's still at Minnesota. They had that trade last year, I guess. Maybe it was 2 years ago. I don't know. It's probably last year. They traded Jordan Morris away to Minnesota, and they got Ramirez in return. So that was a sort of a one-for-one swap, and I guess he's still doing good things in Minnesota. Up at the top, though, we got Gonzalo Verón from DC United, 29-year-old Argentinian. Got 13 goals on the season. And there's Ramirez. He's moved on to... Oh, yeah, he's not moved on. He was in that trade, Morris for Ramirez. So I guess Seattle did get the better of that deal. He's got 12 goals. Looking pretty good. Osvaldo for Sporting Kansas City. Ola Kamara is up there. Chicago has Yura Mosisvian, 31-year-old Armenian. We played against this guy earlier. I didn't think he was that good, but whatever. David Villa, 9 goals. I'm sure he'll have some sort of burst at the end of the season like he usually does. How old is he now? 37. He's getting up there with his 6 pace. I mean, his physicals are almost non-existent, but the rest of him is still pretty good. Yeah, so there you go. Goals. Assists, we don't have anybody on the assists list, unfortunately. Reyna from Vancouver is number 1 with 9 assists, tied with Giovinco. So Giovinco's been moved more to the wing this season for Toronto, and he's racking up the assists. Diego Rubio from Sporting Kansas City's up there. Akam from Philadelphia, 6 assists, good for him. Most distance run, Vargas, that's surprising. Our left winger, for some reason, is the number 1 sprinter or long-distance runner in the league. I don't know why. It seems like one of our fullbacks would, or our box-to-box midfielder who has the entire middle of the field all to himself should maybe be on that list, but whatever. Vargas is number 1. I guess he's an inside forward, so maybe that he runs more there. I don't know. Most tackles, again, it's not surprising that we don't have anybody on the tackles list. Stairs is number 1 for Red Bulls. Least concessions, of course, we're not on this list, but Matt Lampson from the LA Galaxy. So this is the key to their success. Lampson not letting in a lot of goals. He's not a very good goalkeeper. 12 one-on-ones, 12 reflexes. So they must have a stellar defense in front of him because he's not very impressive. Guzan, Stefan, McMath, guys you would normally assume to see in there. But here's an interesting name, David Bingham. 29-year-old American for FC Dallas. Where did he come from? He came from Toronto in a trade. That's interesting. So what's up with FC Dallas's goalkeeper situation? Not registration tactics. So Jesse Gonzalez appears to be their starter, but Bingham is getting enough games. Gonzalez must have been injured or something. I don't know. Well, FC Dallas does like to rotate their goalkeepers, I guess. Anyway, Bingham is up there. Only 18 goals allowed in 18 games. Most shutouts, Lamson again, LA Galaxy. Robles is up there, 6th place for the Red Bulls. All the other guys that we'd expect to find are on there. Most tackles, hey, look at that Duverne, 6th in the league, so that shows you how little the rest of the team is tackling. Duverne's doing all the tackling for us. De Jong for Vancouver is number 1. He's quite often on this list for MLS. He is very aggressive, very brave. Not too many other recognizable names. Most dribbles, who cares? Most key passes, Gio dos Santos for LA Galaxy. Blanco, Reyna, Kessweiter from the Earthquakes. That's interesting. And there's Kyle Larin. 33 key passes on the season. 5th place. All right, so we got somebody on that list. And then finally, best at hitting the target, Ola Kamara, 73%, way above the rest of the league. He's killing it. Ramirez, Jackson Amel, 61%. That's more like it. That's what I want to see the rest of the team shooting at, but that's probably a little bit too much to ask for, but, I'll take it. All right, so we did a rundown of the stats very briefly. I don't think we need to get into that too much at the mid-season point. But we can, I think, run down a little bit of the checklist. So we'll start at the academy level. Not a lot going on at the academy level. We have had several players out on international duty from our academy. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But for now, everything is sort of the same. We have called up quite a few players, so our academy is a little bit thin at the moment in terms of players. So we're going to be looking very much forward to this next youth intake. Finances, we're in a little bit of a dip here. We're down to $6 million balance, and we're losing quite a bit of profit every month. We got a very expensive team right now, $20 million, still the same as it was. But we got to work on this, and during the off season, we're going to shed a lot of money. So that's not going to be a problem for next year, but for this year, hopefully we can hold out and keep our balance. Board, they have agreed to improve the training facilities, and that's part of the reason why we've lost even more money this season is because of this. It's going to be finished next year in 2020, so we got a ways to go before we improve those training facilities. But as I've mentioned several times before, Montreal does have the worst training facilities. I think they got the worst training facilities in Major League Soccer in terms of just everything. So anything we can improve for Montreal will be good for the team and good for the future. Job security is secure, 57%, so the board is just sort of okay with us. We've dropped quite a bit on club finances. They're not too happy about our finances anymore. Matches are good. Philosophies are good. Leadership support is pretty good. They're still iffy on competitions, club stature. All this other stuff is just sort of, middle of the road. So they're not too impressed, but we're not in any sort of problems or anything like that. Club-wise, everything else is pretty much the same. Do we have any? Well, we can look at those facilities real quick. Our stadium condition is only very good. That's not good. Our field condition also only very good. Good training facilities, poor data facilities, good youth facilities. In some other leagues, this would be pretty good, but in MLS, this is like bottom of the barrel. So we got to work on that. And, the board's a little stingy. So I guess you can't blame them when we're hemorrhaging so much money. But eventually, I think they'll come around and start fixing things up. The other thing I was going to look at news-wise, we got an issue here. West Brom has made an offer for Tadair. You got, the Wolves are circling, or the Albions, what are they? The Wanderers? I don't know. I can't keep nicknames straight. But anyway, they're coming, and they are not taking no for an answer. Let's see. Anything else Yeah, Gomez is on loan. He was our draft pick from last season. He's on loan with Viking Reykjavik, and they're talking about keeping him there permanently. So if we can get, a few, $30,000-$40,000 for him, I think we'd be okay. I don't know if they'd be willing to spend that, but if they would, it's fine for a second-round pick. I mean, a second-round pick in the MLS is basically worth like $60,000, so maybe if we get somewhere around there, that'd be pretty good. Gomez, he is a central defender. We could use him, but he's not really a great central defender. So if anybody wants him, basically we'll trade him. So we'll think about that in the during the transfer window, which isn't up yet. Anything else? Not really much else going on in the news. So we will get to the transfers. And as you can see here, West Brom has come $6 million, and unfortunately, that is his asking price. So we have been forced to sell him. Now it just comes down to not his asking price. It was his minimum fee release clause. So basically that's a clause in his contract that says we have to sell him if a team comes in and matches that price. So we have to sell him. Now it just comes down to, can they reach a salary negotiation or not? And if they can't, then that's fine. We'll keep him. If they do and we lose him, that's a huge blow to us. Tadeo is basically the only irreplaceable guy we got on our team. So we're going to have to find a replacement for him somewhere, or we're going to have to, change some things up. Yeah. I think that's it for transfers. We had a few other transfers that I should have shown you in previous episodes. We brought in our players from the academy. We sent out players on loan, yada yada. Nothing too exciting. Scouting. The scouts are busy right now, scouting everybody under the sun, looking for box-to-box midfielders. Medical center, we've had some injuries, not too bad. Boxall out for the season, we saw that earlier. Jaguar has been out for a little bit. He'll be back, though, in a few days. Other than that, not too much going on. Hassler, Piet, all that stuff is pretty good. Dynamics, we haven't looked at dynamics in a while, but it's basically because it's always pretty good. There's not usually much to talk about. Hierarchy, Tadeo has finally joined Romero up top, but that's bad because we could just be losing him, so that's no good. Toure has dropped down to just an influential player, but he might come back up because he's going to get a lot more playing time with Tadeo gone until we find a replacement. Nobody opposes me. 17 players support me, including most of the leadership, so that's good. Social groups, more people have joined the core group. We only have 2 guys left out here, Duverne and Nasco, so that's okay. Everybody else has at least some sort of social group. Happiness-wise, everybody's happy. No problems. Not even training. Well, we got a little training problem. Nasco is concerned a little bit about training, but other than that, we're pretty good. I don't think we need any team meetings. No team meetings. Okay, so I mentioned international duty, and it's a good thing we had the international break because we had 13 players out on international duty. That is a lot. That's like almost half the roster. Tadeo, Hassler, Piet, Laren, Petrasso, Vasquez, and then some of our youngsters, Chevalier, Mendy, Carrera, and Jaguar. So it's a lot of important dudes out. And so it's very good that we had that international break. Look at the international break. Unfortunately, the under-20s, they had a loss here against Costa Rica. But that's not really the unfortunate one, because that was just a little bit of a friendly, an international. But in the World Cup, under-20 World Cup, they had some disappointments. They lost 2-1 to Denmark. They drew Ghana 1-1. And then in this final game in the group stage against South Korea, they had a chance to advance if they got the win, but they did not. And unfortunately, it was a very tight game. But South Korea came away. They had the only goal. We had several of our young players on this team, and I was really rooting for these guys. And here is, the 19th minute, an early goal, just some bad little mix-up there on the defense, cost them the game. But I actually watched the full highlights of this game, and they were like, South Korea kept bombing down the middle and beating the central defense. And I was wondering why, and it's because they didn't have Chevalier. For whatever reason, they didn't take Chevalier to the under-20s, the World Cup. They brought Paco Grande, Marical, Carrera, Mendy, Vasquez. So they brought all of our other youngsters, but they didn't bring our best guy. I have no idea why. He's got to be one of, if not the best under-20 central defender in Canada. So somehow he got left off the squad. He's there now for their friendlies, which is dumb. But anyway, that got me thinking about international football. And I noticed that the under-23 job popped up. And it doesn't usually pop up unless there's something going on. And that something going on is Olympic qualifying. So I applied for the job, and I got the job. I'm going to be the Olympics coach for Team Canada. Very happy about that. Very excited about that. It's an all under-23 squad for the qualifying. I think after you qualify and you make the Olympics, then you can have 3 to 5. I forget the number, but you can have a few players who are over 23. So we're going to have an interesting team to look forward to. I think we're going to have a lot of our under-20s are going to be on this Olympic team, and we'll see if we can do a little better than what they did at the under-20 World Cup. So that's some exciting news, and I'm very happy about it. Haven't had a chance to pick our team yet because, we don't have to play until November time frame. I guess this is October. So anyway, we don't have to play until October. Can't even schedule any friendlies right now, so I don't know if I even have control over friendlies, or if the main head coach has control of the friendlies. But however it goes, we're going to pick a good team, try to qualify. You got to play Honduras, Trinidad, and USA. So we got 2 tough teams and 1 team we should beat. So it's going to be an interesting little group. This is Group A. Only 2 groups. The other group, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Jamaica, Mexico. So that's a pretty tough group down there as well. So I guess we got the easier group because Costa Rica is good, Jamaica is good, Mexico is good. And for us, Honduras is pretty good, USA is pretty good, but they're not as good as Mexico, certainly. So, we'll look forward to that later in the season. But for now, I guess we can just get to this week's game, get to the old schedule here, and we are playing against our rivals from the other coast, Vancouver Whitecaps. So let's get here to the team selection, see what Vancouver's been up to these days. Look at their overview, I guess. They got a lot of injuries, not so good. Henry, Parker, Reyna, he's on the disabled list. You saw him on the stats. He's a pretty good player, 25-year-old Peruvian. He's out of there, so we're gonna look to take advantage of that. All right, team selection. Gonna go with a pretty basic team here on the bench. We're gonna have Dupuis, Mane, Piet, Watts, Giglio, Salmon, and Crepeau. Got a lot of our guys still on international duty out there. Let's see who all is on international duty. Am I just lying about that, or did they just come back? I guess they all just came back. Yeah, there's Carrere, Mendy, Chevalier is back. Vasquez. Hassler's back. Oh, Tadair is still on international duty. Everybody else is back. All right, so let's submit that team and get things started. Now we've got a little bit of a preview of what the team might look like without Tadair. So we are going with the 4-2-4 again, even though we're playing a Western Conference team on the road, maybe? No, I think we're at home. Anyway, we're going with Leutwiler in goal again. Tran and Duverne at fullbacks. Taylor and Cabrera, central defense. Gonna move Yaya Toure back to defensive midfielder. And we're gonna move Andre up to the box-to-box midfielder, because Toure is just too slow to play that box-to-box. I don't know if he can play the segundo role, so I think we got him at some other role here. I'll look at that in a minute. But this might be what we have to go with. Go with Andre as the box-to-box and either Toure or Piet down here at the defensive midfielder. And we got Vargas on the left, Petrasso on the right. Petrasso is our leading highest average rated player, 7.58, 4 assists, only 5 appearances, so I'm trying to get him more into the games. And then, of course, Jackson Amell, Kyle Larin. On their side, looks like they brought in Osario on the right-hand side. Shea is on the left, who is their top goal scorer with 5 goals. That's no good. So I don't think Vancouver scores a lot of goals if their leading goal scorer only has 5. Let's see. I guess we owe them for what happened last time. Yeah, I think they beat us last time. Opposition instrucciones. Let's see what the old assistant has to say. Okay. We close down on Louis Villa. Villa. Yeah, it's 1L, so it's Louis Villa. All right. Not real familiar with that guy. We definitely closed down on Shea. Chani's working on a red card over here, so maybe we can antagonize him. But anyway, let's get to the tunnel. Let's send the assistant. It's a lot of blue in the stands. I'm thinking we're at home. It's a packed crowd. Maybe that's why I don't think we're at home. We only have packed crowds against the Canadian teams. I don't know what it is. But hey, it's nationalism, I suppose. That famous and feared Canadian nationalism. Larin with a bad pass. Petrasso can't get to it. And there ends the first highlight. All right. So let's go, boys. Let's get a win. We've already got a shot on goal. Well, not a shot on goal, but a shot in general. We know that Vancouver likes to tackle. So maybe we should try bombing it down the field a little bit. Here's Jackson to Larin. Larin looking. Chips it forward. There's Jackson. Can he get it? Forward to Vargas. Forward to Andre. It's Andre getting forward in that box-to-box role. Oh, I forgot to check and see. Toure is playing the regista. That's right. So he's going to move around a little bit. He's going to help us out on offense. And hopefully he does some good things. What's his rating at right now? 6.8. That's good. It's a nice average for the beginning of the game. We're not connecting on too many of our crosses. All right. Leutwiler bombs it forward. Jackson doesn't quite go for that header, but looks like Andre is going to chase it down. Toure. Terrible pass, but Vargas makes up for it. He sends it forward for Jackson. Tran bombs it forward for Jackson. Jackson across to Larin. Larin heads it over the goal. I don't know why Toure makes such bad decisions and such bad passes. Like, I understand he's slow. Physically, he's slow, but he shouldn't be slow mentally. He should be on point mentally. Oh, Petrasso around a man. He's got a lot of space down the far sideline. He's chugging. Sends it across to Jackson, back post. Ew, he tries a sneaky header. Can't get it on target. I would have preferred more of a whipped cross there, but anyway. Should encourage our players to try more long balls forward. All right, we'll do that. Here is Shea now for Vancouver. Trapped on the sideline, has to drop it back. Looks like they're struggling a little bit with our pressure defense. Duverne, nice defense on the back post. Oh, great pass by Lutweiler, but can't quite get to it. There's Tran. Lutweiler. Now it looks like Vancouver's also pressing forward. Chani has it. He's going to try to skip it forward, but Duverne is there. Gets it to Petrasso. Petrasso's going to bomb it forward to Laren. Laren, let's go. Let's go. Past one man, centering pass. O'Brien is there. Great. Ah, come on, boys. Vargas with that great one-touch pass, and then Laren. I think we're going to have to tell these boys to concentrate. We're getting our chances. We're just not taking advantage. We've only managed to put 1 of 6 shots on target. All right, somebody must be winning because we just dropped down to 6th place. Here's Vargas. Jackson to Toure. There he is. There's the man. He's got his goal for the season. Good job. Assist by Jackson Amell. Crowd goes wild for the $10 million man. Vargas sends it in. Jackson, yeah, nice finish. Nice play all around. Jackson with a very solid header. And if we get this out of Toure, this is fine. Here's Vargas. Oh, off the crossbar. Wow, that was almost 2 spectacular goals. Look at Vargas running for it. Using all that speed. Doesn't look like anything came from that, but, you know, I appreciate the effort. That's the other thing that's good when you have a young team. A lot of times they're very enthusiastic. They run all over the place. And as you saw in the stats, Vargas, I guess that shows why he's number 1 in the league in terms of distance run, because he's a left winger. And he ran all the way to the right-hand side of the field to pick up that ball. So he does not mind running around at all. What sort of stats does he got? Where would that come from? I mean, aggression, anticipation. Work rate's only 11. I mean, he just likes to run around. I don't know. But there is halftime. What kind of... we're on key highlights. Let's drop it down to extendo highlights for the second half. And see if we got any analysis. Yeah, we got lots of analysis. Work the ball in the box. Remove hit early crosses. We have hit early crosses on? Encourage long balls forward. Okay. Let's do some of that stuff, but for now, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Let's. Can we do more direct passing and work the ball in the box? We'll see how that works out. I also want whipped crosses instead of floating crosses. I don't know. I just never really like floating crosses. Even though we got players who are very good at heading the ball, it just seems like when our players float those crosses, they float them way too much. So other than that, I think we are okay. Let's get to the dressing room, give him the old pep talk. Things are going well, but you're capable of even better. All right, nobody cares. Nobody wants platitudes. All right. Let's get a goal. These guys can't score. So I think if we score a goal, the floodgates will open. They'll try to push forward. They'll get caught in counterattack, and we'll beat them 2 or 3 to nothing. That's what I want to see. Of course, now that I've said all that, they're going to score right here. Nope. Duverne, nice play. You know, it's hit or miss with these young defenders. One game they'll play really well. The next game they'll be awful. So right now, Duverne's playing very well, getting lots of stops. He only has a 6.7 rating, but that's probably because we're bombing the ball forward like that. Of course, get it out to Vargas. He's going to drop it to Tran and then bomb it downfield. There's Jackson. Can he cross it? He gets it. Oh, Petrasso. Huh. That was an interesting move by Jackson. That was not a good move by Petrasso. He should have just chested it down to himself instead of trying to chest it into goal. All right, here's Lutweiler. 54 minutes down already. Jackson wins the header. Andre getting forward. Box-to-box midfielder. Great pass to Laren. Can't score. All right, Vargas. Nope. Oh, we already have a goal. For some reason, I was thinking it was 0-0. Vargas going to send it in. Gets sent back out. Laren's going to chase it down. Superstar doing a bit of dirty work here. Gets it forward to Andre. Laren had to run back to his position. Duverne bombs it forward. Jackson heads it on. Laren. Between three guys, he gets tackled. Lots of tackling going on, which should be expected from Montreal. Maybe that's why we should bomb it forward. Because if we try to play the patient game and the control game, they're just going to tackle the crap out of us. So, with the 1-goal lead, I mean, I'm fine with this. Clock can roll. How did I forget? How did I forget the Yaya Toure goal? I guess I just assume that he doesn't score, or assume that somebody probably went offside or something. But anyway, we're up a goal, so the floodgates haven't opened. But I don't know that Vancouver looks any closer to scoring with 3 shots and only 1 on target and 12 fouls. So if we can just continue putting the pressure on them, bombing the ball forward, I think we'll be all right. I mean, we could dial it back a little and just go to like regular type passing. Might not be the worst thing. Because it's not like the clock is really speeding. It's just kind of going intermediate. Ritala. Yuka Ritala, one of our former players. There we go. Now the clock's rolling. Laren. See, he gets tackled, but nope, Toure can't win it. Vila tries to split the defense. And he does with a weird tackle. What was that? It's like we stole the ball from him momentarily and he just dove into the ground. That was weird. But whatever. They didn't score. Okay, now they're getting too many highlights. Missed tackle on the outside. Here's Shea. Sends it in. Taylor, nice head. What? Chani with a shot. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay, come on. Duverne has a yellow. Taylor's on a 6.5 rating. Here's Vargas, tries to send one in from the corner. Andre is going to have to chase it down. Not quite as spry as he has been. He's not used to running. Oh, Toure again. Starts the counterattack. Osorio Tran with a nice tackle. He returns the favor right there. Eye for an eye, I guess, or a boot for a boot. O'Brien's, the highlight is still going. I don't like that. Toure doesn't win it. Vargas, though, gets in the way. But Montreal retains possession. That was a terrible pass to Toure. Drops it back to Taylor. Petrasso. Going to try to run down the sideline. Gets past De Jong. That's tough to do. He's a tackling machine. Petrasso looking. Drops it back. Jackson. Oh. That was a nice header, but Rowe was there. All right. So Ritala's got a yellow card. He's been booked. Should we get Duverne out of there? I don't know. 80 minutes. I think we'll be okay. Everybody else is playing pretty good. Yaya Toure is a 7.5 average and a goal. But man, just every time I look at him, he seems to mess up. Definitely doesn't make enough big plays for us. And I'm just going to complain about him forever, I guess. I mean, look at how good he is. Look at those stats. He should be so much better than he is. He has dropped quite a bit in several areas, though. But he's still really good. All right. Tran bombs it downfield. Raytala picks it up. Oh, that was a bad play. Cabrera. Okay. All right. I'm going to take out Duverne. He messed that up. He was way out of position. Going to bring Salmon in. See what he can do. Yeah, that's it. Not going to get crazy. '88 minutes. Atlanta United's beating Minnesota. So I think we need to win this game to keep pace with Atlanta. League table. Oh, new highlight. Taylor heads it out, but Watson gathers it in for Montreal. Tabert out wide to Osario. Oof, Lutweiler had to stop that. That was sort of a cross, sort of a shot. Whatever it was, he had to stop it. Okay, here we go. 3 minutes of stoppage time. Taylor again heads it out. Andre heads it on. Osario's going to gather it in, and Montreal's going to restart. No, Vancouver is going to restart their attack, but Vila was offside. Get out of here. Okay, this has not been the greatest commentary in the world, but I just want to beat these guys. I'm sick of losing to the other Canadian teams. Cabrera heads it out. Chani bangs it forward. Vila is there again. He sends it across to Osario, but Tran is there. Raytala tries a shot. Vargas, again. Vargas all over the field. Tries to send it down for Jackson. He cannot. 1 minute of stoppage time. Let's go. Tebert sends it forward. There's our man. Salmon's going to track it down. Drops it to Cabrera, who bombs it downfield. Jackson heads it on. All right, we got 45 seconds, and the highlight is still continuing. Tebert tries one, but Tran is there. Lutweiler bombs it downfield. Jackson heads it down to Vargas. Great play. Vargas, interesting touch. He scoops it downfield. Now we're getting crazy. Toure, can Toure get there? No, he cannot. Vila to Osario. 30 seconds. He tries to loop one in on goal. All right, Lutweiler, let's dribble the ball a little bit, you know, between your legs, something. Let's waste some time. No, he just bombs it downfield. Vargas is waiting for it. Vargas turns it over immediately. Watson, 10 seconds to go. Vila offside. Thank you. It's twice he's been offside in very important points of the game, and there we go. Okay. So much for having a great offense and a terrible defense, I guess. I mean, we get a shutout, 1-goal victory. But, I don't know. I still look at Yaya Toure. He got a 7.5 rating and a goal. But it just seemed like he played so bad. I don't know. Might have to replace him with Piet and just bite the bullet on all of this. Anyway, well done. Well done. End of pep talk. Get out of here. Let's go. In control. Yep. Pre-match press conference or post-match press conference, whatever. Send the assistant. I send the assistant to so many. I used to do every single press conference. Like, I kind of enjoyed them, but they kind of get in the way when you're trying to record a game. And I just want to fast forward a little bit to see if Teder, agrees to a contract or not. I don't know if that's going to be able to take place in the next day or two, but, as you can see, we got a packed schedule coming up here. We got the NYC game that we rescheduled from before, from our international break. They moved it up here right in between the Vancouver and Orlando games, so it's going to be a little bit of a tough matchup here for these two. Now, we should be able to beat Orlando with a rotated side. is what I'm hoping, because they are not very good this season. They're up to 9th in the conference, but and NYC is down to 11th. So maybe we can beat both of these guys with a rotated side. I don't know. But either way, we're going to have to beat them without Teder, because Teder is going to be on international duty for eternity, apparently. Why is he on international duty and nobody else? Is he in the World Cup or something? What am I looking for? Squad. International. He's not on the list. He's not. Did we lose him already? Is he already gone from our team? What's up? Where'd he go? Romero. There he is. That's odd. Anyway, what's Algeria up to these days? They're on a friendly. Just a friendly. What's going on here? What's their schedule like? Oh, it's the African nations again. That thing takes forever, so he's gonna be gone forever. And then we're gonna trade him away, and he's gonna be really gone forever. Oh, the North American Gold Cup. It's gonna start up soon. And then all of our Canadian players will be out, so we'll have no players left. So many players go on international leave when you have a good MLS squad. Like, if you got a team full of Americans, all the Americans will go out. If you got a team full of Canadians, definitely all the Canadians are going out on international duty, because there's only 3 professional teams, or 3, Major League Soccer teams in Canada. So it's not a lot of guys to choose from. All right. I don't think we're going to get to that decision just yet. So I guess we'll end it here before the NYC game and then come back for the NYC game. Maybe. Something's happening. I hope it's not the game crashing, because it doesn't usually take this long. Maybe because now that I'm managing internationally, it's taking double the time. Possibly. Hello? Why is this taking so long? This is crazy. There we go. Got 7 emails in that day. Okay, so all of our guys on loan. There's Gomez. Playing not so good for his team. Pujol playing very well for his team. 8.2 rating. There it is. West Brom have signed Teder. We got a $6 million fee. The following teams receive a percentage of the transfer fee as part of the deal. GF38 will receive 1.5%. Internacional will receive 1%. From the transfer, Montreal Impact have been awarded $650,000 in general allocation money. That's awesome. Is that it? Major League Soccer? Okay, so yeah, they took 33%. So they're going to take $2 million of that 6, or whatever's left of the 6. That's no good. All right, so our finances have changed somewhat. Up to $9 million balance, $5.4 million transfer budget. So now we got some stuff to look at, some stuff to think about, and we got a big old hole in our squad the size of a designated player. So, we can look at we got the transfer window coming up, so we can look at some sort of designated player to bring in and boost the squad. All right. So we'll have that to look forward to next time, and until then, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.